Hey guys, Spray and Pray here, and today we're looking at some more War for the Overworld. And today, like I promised you guys in the last video, which was very popular, and I'm very happy that you guys like this stuff because I am in love with this game so far, is going to be a live commentary, just like I said. We're going to look at Goodly Conflict. There's two maps. I showed you Sandbox before, but however, that was just stock footage that I had gotten myself. This time we're going to do a live commentary so I can show you each and everything in detail that I was talking about in the last video, but I can actually show it to you now in time with when I'm telling you about it, so I'm sure you'll enjoy that more. Secondly, we're going to also be talking about whether or not you should purchase the game, because this is going to be, it's like a $20 I think on Steam now. Everybody can purchase it, so I wanted to tell you guys my opinion on whether or not you should purchase it, and I will show you the evidence first before I tell you my opinion. So let's get started. We're going to go ahead and click on Goodly Conflict. Okay, so we're in the game now, guys, and if you can't tell already, it really looks like Dungeon Keeper 3 or Dungeon Keeper 2, and how Dungeon Keeper 3 is supposed to look. So if you couldn't tell from the last episode, it definitely has the feel, or rather the look, of Dungeon Keeper, so it definitely gets an A+ there. The next part we're going to talk about is the rooms, so I'm going to go ahead and tell my imps to dig out these rooms, these little areas here. We're going to try and get this summoner thing so we can get some creatures coming in here as well. But let's dig out an area where we can put it for our first room, and our first room, as always, it should be a lair. If you've ever played Dungeon Keeper 2, you want to go for your lair and your hatchery. So this is going to be our lair. I think what it's called in this game is like it's called lair, and then there's the piggies. So it's not really a hatchery anymore. It's a like slaughter room, I think is what it's called, something like that, something to that effect. Anyway, and then if you notice, there's also gold scenes. I feel like the gold scenes look very well, and if the Dungeon Keeper team had built them or drawn them today, I think this is very similar to how they would look. So I'm very happy with that. The one thing that I would like to see change so far is the lighting. The lighting, if you'll notice, is very dark. I probably will tweak it a little bit so you guys can actually see what's happening, but it's very dark, like way too dark. And when my cursor's over it, it's the little light that comes down is it's interfering with my ability to see things. So, like usual, in these games, it's obvious you want it to be dark, but this I think is a little bit too dark because it's starting to impede my actual functions in the game. Now, secondly, we can take a look at our dungeon art. I think this really looks good. I really like the way that it's actually looks like humanoid, like organism type sort of heart thing, rather than some sort of crystal. Now, I'm not faulting the original Dungeon Keeper creators for creating a sort of pit thing for your heart that sort of beaded a little bit, looked like very mechanical and like poor, like old animating. I mean, it's not their fault, it's just the technology of the day. I think that if they had the access to the technology that we have today, that this is how they would make it look, so I'm very happy with that as well. I'm going to start by, since this is taking so long, I'm going to go ahead and make some more imps. Now, the mana balancing and the amount of money and stuff like that, I think is going to be tweaked a lot because, I can just spam imps like all day, and we have like 1,000 mana total, I think, and that's like a ridiculous amount to be able to spam. If you'll notice, now I have almost doubled my amount of workers, and I'm sure that's just a beta thing, so they want you to be able to test it out. I'm absolutely positive that they will fix that, and it'll be very balanced. My second major complaint would be that the cursor. If you'll notice, it's like this thing here. It's like a sort of a pickaxe. It's really sort of weird how you select things. If you'll notice, if I'm trying to click this block over here, it's like you have to have the end of the pick, the little tip normally that you would dig with, right? That's obvious after you think about it, but when you start using it, it really feels awkward just because of the fact that usually with cursors you're actually trying to point with the top right corner here, much more like this hand. See how this hand, it's sort of up in the corner there? That's what you're trying to click with. With this pickaxe, it's sort of down further, and it's just a little bit awkward to get used to at first. What I would like to see them add to the game would be a little box, that goes around the where you selected, similar to Dungeon Keeper 2, where it lights up blue where you're selecting, just so that you're sure. Or they could change around the pickaxe sort of design. Another thing is that I'd like it to not be, if you'll notice, the cursor is actually reliant on whether or not you're over land or dirt. And it doesn't matter if you're over the menu. I'd like to see them fix that part, because if you'll notice, we're all over dirt. It's only using the pickaxe, and like I said, it's very hard to click stuff this way. So let's go ahead and build our lair. And I feel like that this works pretty well. Obviously, they're going to add an animation for when you build a lair, and we're out of money, so we can't finish off the lair, sadly. That'd be nice if they could get a nice voice, to say, you're out of gold. That'd be cool, I think. I'm sure that's something that they're going to add. These are just like random comments that I'm just, saying, so you don't like look at the game and say they haven't had this obvious thing. They should have. But I'm telling you, this is the beta, so you got to give them a little bit of room to wiggle. And I probably should have had more gold being dug while I was talking. Oh well, we'll just go ahead and mark off some gold for them to dig right now. Yeah, so I really like the mechanics so far, other than the cursor being a little bit weird shaped and like where the selection is. Once you figure that out, the controls are not clunky at all. It's very nice and smooth. There's one thing about this game so far that I feel like they should have included options for you to adjust the sensitivity and stuff. I'm sure that will be in the final release. So, yeah. But if you'll notice, I'm actually making a lot of assumptions. I'm making a lot of assumptions that they're going to fix this and fix that and change this and add this. Now, like I said, they probably will, but it's not 100%. And these are things that I feel could be game-breaking. So if you'll notice, I don't think they're going to make the price go up anymore. There might be a slight price, advantage for you to buy it now at $20, I believe, 21 maybe. So I think it's and obviously a deal if you're really into Dungeon Keeper. Like me, I love Dungeon Keeper. I don't care, it's worth the money to me to have it now. I don't even care if it fails. I just am happy to feel like I'm playing Dungeon Keeper again. Whereas a new player who has never played Dungeon Keeper and is not just basing this decision completely off of how they're playing Dungeon Keeper, I would suggest to you, do not buy this game yet. Alright, I'm sure it has great potential. For what I've seen so far is fantastic. But I want to see a little bit more before I can go out and tell you guys to just go ahead and buy it blindly without having a real attachment to Dungeon Keeper 2 first. Okay, so I think that I did a pretty good job of explaining my position on that. If you have any further questions on whether or not you should buy it or features, please ask me in the comments, and I'd love to answer you guys. Yeah, give me your opinion as well. I want to know from my other fellow Dungeon Keeper 2 fanboys, because I know they exist because you all watched my video last time. So please let me know what your opinion is on the game. I feel like they really hit what they have implemented so far really takes the Dungeon Keeper feel and brings it back for me with just updated graphics basically. So that's my position on it so far. I also would like to see more though before I make my final decision for the people who haven't played it at all ever. So yeah, we're just going to continue going along here. I have never actually played this map, so this is basically a blind sort of let's play, and it feels really Dungeon Keeper, like it's the ominous feeling you get when you're exploring and you don't know whether or not once you look, those are dwarves. See, those are goodly heroes. They could come in and attack us if we aren't careful. So it looks like that's nice. Ooh, are they coming through our dungeon already? Oh, that's a goblin. I believe he's an ally. There's, like I said, the things that are missing are there's no combat system at all yet. So, there is a combat system. There's basic attacks that these units can do, but there's no way to command them. So if you're it's just random chance that your unit happens to be running around next to a dwarf and he'll fight the dwarf. That's basically it. They have no special abilities, so like warlocks, where most of their things are special abilities, are pretty much worthless. Or I believe they're not called warlocks in this game. It's the terminology I'm using right now is just from Dungeon Keeper 2. I'm sure that you guys who know anything about the game so far will understand that better. So that's what I like to use because I remember it better still. I'm sure once the game comes out, they will beat those names of those guys into your head. I believe the new warlock is actually called a cultist. So that'll be cool to learn all their new names and stuff. But for now, they're not really, you can't hover over them and ask what their name is. They just stare at you blankly. Okay, so see, I didn't even talk about this building. I'm sorry, guys. This room here that we just made is the hatchery. We've already got a bug. This unit here, he's stuck inside the hatchery. I saw that reported in the forums. So here it is again, guys. I found a bug. I hope that they take care of this. Obviously they will. And of course you can see there's a texture around the bottom here where the hay is supposed to be transparent, where it is actually opaque. You can still see like the little place where it's supposed to be transparent. And hey, there's little piggies running around though. That's pretty cool. Perhaps if we sell this building, could we sell this room here and will he go away? Can we slap him? No. Perhaps if I take control of him, and we'll just learn about the possession spell now. I'm going to go ahead and possess this guy. Here we go. And I can move him slightly, and I wonder if that will let him go. Oh, hey! Wow, that's like some sort of goblin. Wow, he looks pretty badass. I really, really love the way they just updated it and overhauled all the graphics, and we can get a good feel for this room. And if you'll notice, another glitch is that I'm actually inside of his body, not really like possessing his head as his body. So yeah, let's get out of that. Okay, so he shouldn't. It looks like he is still glitched, sadly. So, oh no, he's not. We got him to move. Sweet. So that's how you fix that glitch, guys. If you're wondering about that. So yeah, let's build our room back so that it doesn't. Our piggies aren't running around on the floor. Okay, so we've got our two basic rooms, our like food room and our lair where they can sleep. They eat from here, sleep here. And those are two mechanics that are in the game. They do have hunger and thirst, so you can see those. If you do get the demo, you'll be able to experiment with having them not starve to death or something, I think. I don't know if they actually die or if they just experience hunger and have to go to the hatchery and just walk around. I'm not certain. So the other three rooms we have here is we'll build next. Since once we get a lot more gold, we'll need more room to store that gold. So what do you do naturally? You want to have a treasury. So I believe it is called like a treasure room or something in this game. It is something to that effect, though. I'm not certain exactly what it's called, though. Alright, so we'll build a treasury. But since there's already a treasury around our dungeon heart, which is what that's called. I don't think I actually mentioned that before. This is your dungeon heart. If this dies, you lose the game, basically, is the concept behind of it. And there's actually a small treasury. If you'll notice, all this treasure is around my dungeon heart already. So you do have a little bit of starting room to store gold. This is to alleviate a problem that happened in Dungeon Keeper 1, where if you didn't actually have enough money to build a treasury, you wouldn't have enough money to do anything ever, because if you didn't have a treasury, you couldn't store gold, and if you didn't have any gold, you couldn't build a treasury, so you just got stuck in this infinite loop of never being able to touch anything or do anything ever. But they solved that by adding a little bit of room to store your gold around your dungeon heart, which is, I thought, was a very savvy idea. Now that we have space for yet another room, we're going to go ahead and build the fourth room here. It's called a library. I think I've seen this before. I showed it to you probably in the last episode, along with these other buildings. I'm just giving you more in depth, and you'll notice, there's books in the library. Who would have thought that? There seems to be these strange bookcases in the middle, and in Dungeon Keeper, the way it works is that the more bookcases you have, the more warlocks, or in this game cultists, that it would attract to your dungeon. And I don't think that that system is in the game yet, since we sort of got a conglomerate of creatures right as soon as we opened this portal, basically, and gave them a lair. They all came in regardless of what rooms we had, but I think soon they will probably implement that. I've actually waited a little bit for this video. If you'll notice, it's been about a week since I've done any more of these videos, and I was hoping that they would go ahead and release some more content for us in that time, and sadly they didn't, but it's okay because I still hadn't done this map yet, so it's alright. So let's cut out some more room here, and this will be our fifth and final room. And we've already gone through both spells. We'll make some more imps so that this goes a little bit faster. And if you'll notice, my mana was at full again. It stops at 1,000, so if you're getting the beta, just know that you can only go to 1,000 mana. Not like you'll ever actually need any more than that. I mean, perhaps to produce imps, but it does regenerate rather quickly. If you'll notice, we're already almost up to 100. Yeah, so we can already almost produce an imp. So we'll continue down here. Let's see, we've got about 9,000 gold in our treasury. Hopefully that means that they're moving more of it into the... they have actually started putting it in our actual treasure room rather than just around our dungeon heart. So that's nice to see. You can see that I'm not a liar and that it actually does work. Okay, so for our fifth room, it's actually the equivalent of the workshop from Dungeon Keeper 2. I think it's called the Foundry in this game. And we'll make a big one. I don't know if we'll be able to... Oh, we can afford it. It was only about 5,000, but if you'll notice, this is where your units will go ahead and build you traps and doors and stuff like that. I'm assuming. I'm not exactly sure what all the features of the Foundry are at this point, just because of the fact that I'm sure they're going to try to take this game in a slightly different direction than Dungeon Keeper while remaining the Dungeon Keeper feel. But usually this room is used for building traps. And I didn't really discuss the purpose of this room, so I will now. For the library, the research that happens in here goes towards getting new spells for you, basically. So these spells will not be available at the beginning of the game. Your warlocks will have to come in here and research them, or if they're already researched, maybe perhaps they'll research an upgrade to the spell or something to that effect. And then, like I said, this is based off of my Dungeon Keeper 2 knowledge. I'm sure that it'll be tweaked slightly, and your research and stuff might work differently in this game, but it will still be a similar effect where it affects your spells. I'm certain. And since we're running just a little bit low on gold, not really, I'm certain, since we're not really building anything, and I just want to see our treasury fill up because that makes me feel good, we're going to go ahead and dig some more into there, as well as we're going to free these monsters that we have found. I believe that these two areas here are what we're going to be looking at to fight monsters, so let's go ahead. Well, I'm not monsters, actually, we're the monsters. We're going to be fighting goodly heroes, so as the name of the map suggests. So let's go ahead and we'll make some more imps so they can get that done quickly. Oh look, our imps are actually fighting the dwarves. I forgot the imps and dwarves are like basically the same class of unit. However, our imps are really getting smacked. They all died. Our imps got all murdered by the dwarves, but that's fine. Like I said, our mana regenerates really quickly and we can just make more little imp workers as much as we want. Hopefully those dwarves will make their way down towards our areas, so it looks like they're already running towards us. Fantastic. I hope they come down here and we can actually see some real unit-to-unit combat. Perhaps I'll build an imp here to maybe goad them further along. Alright, so the heal... Oh no, they're running away? Oh! My imp actually killed the dwarf. Wow. Good job, Mr. Impy. I'll send you some reinforcements down here as well, so you can take out this other dwarf. Pretty cool. Wow. This really come a long way. Since the last map, obviously there was not even a single regular hero, so it's nice to actually see enemies, and they sort of disappear when they die. They don't actually, leave a corpse. Of course, they will certainly add that. If there's anything that I'm certain of them adding, it is that they will add that part into it. Okay, guys, so I think we've pretty much seen, let's keep going a little bit. I want to go a little bit further because I believe there's another unit called like the Juggernaut or something that is around this corner here, and I want to show you guys that because that's the thumbnail that I used for the last episode. It sort of looks like just a little crest behind War for the Overworld, but it's actually a picture of a unit in the game, and that's the one that's hiding, I believe, back behind this wall. So let's go ahead and give our imps some little help here getting past this little unbreakable rock that seems to be in our way. And I don't think we're going to be able to catch any glimpses of the enemy yet, so we'll just go ahead and make some imps here, have them start claiming the territory away up here. And like I said, I mean, it's a little bit dark out here, but once your imps claim the walls or whatever and reinforce them, the torches light it up very nicely, and I would like to see a little bit more of a balance in between how bright it is in your base with the torches and how dark it is outside of your base. Some more dwarves over here, if you'll notice. I don't see any more... Oh wow, it got dark over there quickly. Since our imp died, I would very much be scared of being over there while our imp died again, because we could easily lose our place, because as you'll see, there's no mini-map, which I'm sure that's another thing that they're going to be adding to the game. So if there's no mini-map, obviously you're going to have a lot of trouble finding your way back home. Okay, so... Good, we've done that so far. There's this extra gold up here. Since we have like a gazillion imps, I'm gonna go ahead and just mark that off to get mine anyway. Yeah, so let's keep going. We want to get up there to those Juggernauts, and if it does take a little bit too long, guys, I might just cut up to where we get to those Juggernauts. So yeah, I think that's what I'm going to do, guys, so please just bear with me for a second and I'll take you to the Juggernauts. Okay, guys, so I finally found them, and wow, look, this is them. They're all bugged and glitched inside their little hatchery area, food thing, slaughter pen, whatever it's called. Yeah, they're all trapped there. So, but you can get a good look at what the Juggernauts look like. They're sort of glitched and stuck in place here. You'll see he's got like some sort of armor and helmet on, and so does his friends here, and there's some dwarves in there as well, and you can get a close-up on them if you missed that from the last time. But look at how far I had to come. Oh my god, it was so far trying to find these stupid Juggernauts. It was like I spent like 20 minutes just digging. Like, look at how long this tunnel is, and this is how I'm going to end this episode, guys. I really hope you enjoyed this look in this in-depth look at the new beta and all of it has to offer, and we finally get back to our base and back to our dungeon heart, guys. Really hope that you liked the episode and that I explained everything that you wanted to hear explained. And if you really liked what I've done so far, please go ahead and subscribe, and I will go ahead and I will give you all the information I can find about this game, and especially give me comments telling me that you want to know more about this game. I just need positive feedback from you guys so that I know what I'm doing is something you want me to be doing for you, something you guys want to see, and if it is, then I will definitely do more of it. So thank you guys for watching so much. Spray and pray out.